Good morning, Opteck traders. This is your host, Don Kingsley, coming to you live from Opteck headquarters. Today's date, September 8th, 2014. Let's get right into today's daily market briefing. As we saw, there were some major changes that happened last week. Just wanted to go over some because I think it's important for all of you to know. As far as the major announcements that we had, quite a few, including non-farm employment change listed here. That was on Friday, as well as U.S. unemployment rate, unemployment claims, trade balance, as well as ECB press conference, and a number of other announcements. You can see there was a huge block of them from Thursday to Friday. I figured it would be important for you to check that out because you can see there's quite a number of them. Moving forward for today, we have already trade balance coming from the Chinese yen, positive $50 billion in trade balance surplus. Quite a number there, so keep in mind the Chinese are doing very well in terms of overall output for exports. So we have quite a number of announcements coming up this week. I highlighted them here for you. You can easily do that by filtering out minor announcements and selecting only the high impact. You can also filter out whether if you want to do growth, inflation, employment. All of those options are here, even limiting the currencies that you're only trading on, like US dollar or Japanese yen, or everything that you have here you can filter. We have coming up this week building permits as far as today for the Canadian dollar. A speech from Governor Carney here on Tuesday. Later on this week on Thursday we have looks like employment rates and employment change for the Aussie dollar. And on Friday, preliminary consumer sentiment for the US dollar. This is an interesting announcement happening, looks like 5 p.m. GMT. Now let's go over some charts because I wanted to show you some of the interesting changes that happened as a result of the announcements on Friday and what might this hold for the future. Euro US dollar dropped below 1.3. Amazing there because we had the minimum bid rate that came out unexpectedly for the euro at 0.05%. This allows lending institutions to grant more liquidity into the euro. So as a result, the euro became more diluted and lost some value there. So the euro dollar dropped significantly from, looks like from on Thursday, 1.315 to now at around 1.2940. Now let's get into the yens. If we talk about the yens here, first we'll go to the Australian dollar yen. Interesting performance here. Gained quite a bit from, looks like on Thursday, 97.9 to now 98.3. We've seen that recently the yen has had some trouble because right now the Japanese economy is facing a potential recession if they can't manage to pass a new tax law that will increase taxes for its citizens. But right now, yen is not doing too well. You can even see on the U.S. side, now up to 105, coming from 104.8. So as you can see, U.S. dollar giving some strength. Weakening the yen, we've seen an increasing change. It looks like it possibly could continue as we see potentially the U.S. dollar come up here on the Yaroon. You could see there could be a change coming. Moving on, pound dollar had some interesting performance as well. Significant drop from even the beginning of this month. I wanted to highlight it was at around 1.67, 1.659. Now on the lower end of the 1.6 is 1.61. Significant drop there. So you can see even on the Yaroon, dollar has been very strong compared to the pound. Even though today we may see a slight correction, we have a nice cross here on the hourly on the stochastic, as well as looks like an uptick here on the RSI. Let's take a look at commodities. Oil had another drop. Even though on looks like earlier last week we had a drop and then a rise again, it seems that that correction was only temporary, dropping from $95 to $92 a barrel and continuing to drop here. this was only a few minutes prior that I had aligned this. And we see, looks like there was a beautiful cross here, and the stochastic coming down nicely. It could drop below 92 if there's enough strength. But we could see a slight correction later on in the day. We'll have to check in on it later. Gold having an interesting day. Or before I even go to gold, let's go to Brent. Brent also dropped. Even within the hour, you can see the drop is continuing. Below, it's bordering 100. So if we see that cross, it could continue down below 99.5 there, or 99.5 here. You can see it's got some distance. It's crossing below the relative support line here, established at 100. So keep in mind, folks, oil could be dropping significantly. Gold, which has been quite a haven for volatile currencies if you've been investing in the euro or the yen, we've seen a lot of changes for reinvesting in gold. Although gold has dropped in price since Thursday, last Thursday, and then had a resurgence here on Friday. U.S. dollar index overlaying this graph we see has been going up significantly. So even though it was a minimal change, we could see another downward turn in the near future. Silver, similar movement, although we saw an increase here, looks like at 19.2. We see a nice cross here earlier today, coming down nicely. And lastly, I just want to highlight the Dow Jones. Dow Jones has had some outstanding progress since the beginning of this month and August as well. Strong movement up here, above 17,000, excuse me, 17,137, and climbing. MACD is also showing some volume for an increase today. We may see a slight drop before that end result at the end of today. We have a nice cross coming up soon. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well. That's today's daily market review. I'm your host, Don Kingsley. Remember to share and like this video with your friends and your fellow traders. Take care, folks. Have a great week trading. Looking forward to give you updates down the road. Happy trading, folks.